A 51-degree afternoon for the second meeting this season between the Redskins and the Eagles. Washington with a win in Philadelphia week 2 of the season by a 20-12 score. The Eagles have won the toss. Ryan Westbrook accounting for 37% of the Eagles' offense this season.
And kind of a change in what the Redskins do at the safety position. Sean Taylor will be back in coverage. They need to locate LaRon Landry.
Sean Sweezum will kick off for the Redskins. The Eagles do not have a kick return of at least 30 yards, and they have made a change. Karel Buckhalter inactive for today's game. Andy Reid will go with J.R. Reid on kickoff returns. And we are underway. Kickoff is taken at the 8 by J.R. Reid. He tosses it back to Hank Baskett. And Baskett is tripped up shy of the 20-yard line by Lee Torrance.
One of the things that you'll see with the Redskin coverage, and it bit them last week, was they really squeezed to the side of the kick. Philadelphia is trying to take advantage of that with a reverse, but watch Lee Torrance, number 29. He was the guy who got beat to the outside last weekend against Leon Washington. He's not going to let that happen again. He learned his lesson.
Leon Washington of the Jets returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown last week against the Eagles. This time, Torrance was not fooled.
Well, this has been another problem for the Eagles is their starting field position. It has been a struggle all season long. Now they're starting inside their own 20-yard line. Tough to go the long haul for points in the NFL.
McNabb complete on the slant. Kevin Curtis out across the 24-yard line. Fred Smoot brought him down. Gain of 7 yards on the play, setting up second down and 3.
Donovan McNabb had been kind of getting back into a rhythm, but last week against the Cowboys kind of took a step back, so it'll be interesting to see how he responds today.
Second and 3, the give to Brian Westbrook, and Westbrook picks up a first down, brought it out to the 30-yard line before he was tackled by Rocky McIntosh.
Talking to Donovan also during warm-ups, he has gained a lot more confidence in his footwork and being able to go and move around the pocket. He says he took the knee brace off a couple weeks ago, and he's gaining confidence by the day.
He suffered the torn ACL 51 weeks ago, last November 19th, in a game against Tennessee. First and 10 from the 30, inside handoff. Westbrook, penalty marker, as Westbrook takes it across the 35-yard line, picked up 5, but it will come back. John Parry, the referee.
Holding, number 67 offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's against the center, Jamal Jackson.
Here's Jamal Jackson at the center position. I think he's overreaches a little bit on Anthony Montgomery, and that allows the penetration. So that hard first step with Anthony Montgomery going back the other direction. He's got to grab a handful of jersey. Instead of losing 2, they lose 10.
So instead of a second and 5, it's first and 20. Redskins with 5 defensive backs on the field. McNabb to the outside to Baskett. For Hank Baskett, his 9th catch of the season, and he gains 7. Eagles looking for their first win in the division. They lost to the Redskins week 2. 2 weeks later, a 16-3 defeat at the hands of the Giants. And then last week, Daryl, 38-17, Cowboys with the victory.
Yeah, but you see some positives right there. Look at Andy Reid's record in November and December within the division. But it's been a tough road for him. A division that this team has really dominated for 5 or 6 years.
Second down and 13. Westbrook out to the 28-yard line. Gain of 3.
Tony, right now it looks as though Washington is going to play Philadelphia very similar to how they played New England. They're very worried about the big play down the field.
Yeah, not a lot of blitz on that play. I was really surprised. They motioned one of the tight ends or one of the wide receivers out. I didn't really see that, but you're bringing it in to look like for max protection, but seems like they're just keeping running the ball, waiting for that blitz to come, but not existing right now.
3rd down and 12. Eagles have to get to the 40 for a first down. McNabb's pass is short. It was intended for Westbrook, but there is a flag. Penalty marker at the 45-yard line.
Oh, wow.
It's against the Redskins.
You're walking off the field.
Illegal contact. Number 27 defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Now you're walking back onto the field. Fred Smoot at the top of the screen against Kevin Curtis. Little contact right there.
One thing, Donovan needs to go and be a little bit more patient. We only blitzed 4 guys. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. They didn't bring the pressure. He needs to go and have a little confidence in that offensive line, stay in that pocket, and make some better throws than that.
Penalty called on Fred Smoot gives the Eagles a first down from their own 34. McNabb with time. Westbrook, the intended receiver, London Fletcher on the coverage, and another penalty flag against the Redskins.
They're just beating themselves right now. They're playing good defense, but just careless penalties.
Pass interference. Number 59 defense. Automatic first down at the spot of the foul.
That's on Fletcher.
Well, that's a matchup that Philadelphia is going to try and create against Greg Williams' defense all afternoon. If they can isolate London Fletcher against Brian Westbrook, especially in the middle of the field, that really plays to their advantage. And look at the depth of the safeties, Tony. They're 25 yards deep.
Pass is caught by Jason Avant in Redskins territory, down to the Washington 46, a gain of 8.
And this was on the previous snap, too. This was 2 first and 10s in a row. And it's unbelievable how far back they are playing their safeties. And even London Fletcher is about 8 yards off the ball also. It's very similar to the defense we saw against New England.
So that opens up the short passing game for the Eagles. Play action on 2nd and 2. McNabb can't find anyone downfield. Now he throws. He was looking for Kevin Curtis.
Against the New England Patriots, Greg Williams decided to challenge the Patriots about going the length of the field. They weren't going to give up anything over the top. What he's hoping to do here is challenge the patience of Andy Reid and Donovan McNabb. Look at where these guys are lined up. That is unbelievable how far from the line of scrimmage. Over 20 yards. Look at London Fletcher. He's 8 yards off the ball. They are not going to let anybody get behind him.
Sort of takes him totally out of the run game. Sorry about that, Kenny, but you need those safeties to come up. If you break the line of scrimmage and get into that secondary, they could be hitting their head on that goalpost.
On 3rd and 2, the toss to Westbrook, and Westbrook picks up the first. What I was going to say, Daryl, would the McNabb of old, the pre-injury Donovan McNabb, have tried to run for the first down on that last play?
Yeah, I don't think so, because before the ACL injury, he was becoming more of a pocket passer. I think he took offense to being stereotyped as a quarterback who made things happen on the move. He wanted to be considered a guy who could function efficiently from within the pocket, and I think we saw a change in the way he was playing the quarterback position. So I believe, even before the pre-ACL injury, that was the type of plays you were going to see from Donovan McNabb.
McNabb and the Eagles look to capitalize on the 2 defensive penalties. One on Smoot, the other called on Fletcher, which have extended this drive. Off the play fake, McNabb to the outside to Hank Baskett. And he's tackled just shy of the 30-yard line by Fred Smoot after picking up 4.
And that's when you play off. You've got to be a good tackling team. And we talked about the importance of getting Donovan McNabb down in the pocket if you have a chance for a sack, being able to locate Brian Westbrook throughout the formation and tackling him when he's got the ball. But it goes for everybody. When you're playing that soft and allowing the underneath passes to be completed, you've got to be very good with your tackling.
9th play of this drive, which started back on the 18-yard line. Westbrook, first down, as we check in with Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles. Kurt?
Well, Kenny, you were talking about nice drives, and here Reggie Bush caps an opening drive for the Saints. Just over 2 minutes into the game, he scores from 7 yards out, and they lead the Rams 7-0. Back to Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
The Saints looking to win their 5th consecutive game. They've averaged 31 per game over the last 4.
Better play from their offensive and defensive lines down in New Orleans. They were pretty shaky during the first month of the season.
First and 10 Eagles from the Redskins 21. And down to Westbrook. And Westbrook takes it down to the 9-yard line. Picks up another Philadelphia Eagles first down.
Here's your importance in the game. You've got to find number 36 wherever he goes. Okay, we've got him. He's in the backfield. He's offset to our left. Now the play's going to go. The amazing thing is how much space there was around Brian Westbrook when he got the ball. And Rocky McIntosh took a look inside for some reason. Sean Taylor was late getting there.
Brian Westbrook grew up in this area in Maryland. He was a big Redskins fan. He has never scored a touchdown in this stadium in 5 games. Penalty markers prior to the snap.
Neutral zone infraction. Number 64 defense. Moving in the neutral zone, causing the player to react. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Hey Tony, that margin for error, we're not talking about giving up big plays and some of the bigger issues that happen during the course of the game, but we've seen it on this drive. An illegal contact on a 3rd down that extends the drive, a pass interference penalty, now that penalty down here in the red zone. That's how small the margin for error is when you play conservatively.
I'm really shocked, Al. You're absolutely right, but I'm really shocked in 14 plays. This being the 15th one, we have not seen one pressure from the Redskins. We might get it right here. They got 5 guys on the line of scrimmage.
First and goal, the toss, Westbrook, touchdown.
When you have a player who can line up all across the formation, it's knowing what he does from each location. Split backs there, a little shovel pass. That may be credit to Andy Reid and Marty Morningway, because usually you see that out of shotgun and single back. They're inside the red zone. They go to split backs with a fullback to the play side. That might have been a new look in formation to a play the Redskins have seen quite a bit this year.
So Brian Westbrook has his first touchdown on the road against his hometown Washington Redskins. Eagles take advantage of 3 penalties called on the Redskins defense. 7-0 Philadelphia. Yesterday, the 25th anniversary of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall in our nation's capital. As we celebrate Veterans Day, Eagles with a 7-0 lead on the Redskins. Philadelphia drove 82 yards, helped out by 3 Washington penalties. Rock Cartwright takes it out of bounds. Cartwright tackled at the 25-yard line by J.R. Reed. Redskins on offense when we return. Eagles drove 11 plays, 82 yards, helped out by 3 Redskin penalties. Westbrook with the game's first touchdown.
It couldn't have been a worse start for the Washington Redskins. I mean, it really could not have. They let Philadelphia go down the field, kept the drive alive with one of those penalties.
And now the Redskins start from their own 25. The toss to Portis. And Portis able to gain 5 yards on first down. Tackled by Trent Cole. Clinton Portis. Season high 196 yards on the ground last week against the New York Jets. He's the 2nd leading rusher in the NFC behind only Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, he had a heck of a game last week, and you can see what this Redskin team is all about. They're coming out, they're bringing in big guys. You had Lorenzo Alexander in on the first play. He's an offensive tackle that they bring in to pound that running game.
Redskins have 3 wide receivers on the field on 2nd and 5. They keep it on the ground with Portis. And Portis has a first down out across the 35. Brian Dawkins made the tackle. Redskins are without Santana Moss. They do not have a touchdown reception from a wide receiver all season long.
And you mentioned Brian Dawkins coming up on that last play. He's going to be critical to shutting down this Washington run game because they are going to pound it and pound it and pound it all afternoon.
On first down from the 36. Campbell to the air for the first time. And Antoine Randall able to make the catch out of the 46-yard line, close to another Redskins first down.
Good patience by Jason Campbell. They get the play action. They get everybody to bite up on it. He's got double coverage on the outside. He stays with Antoine Randall. Good job by Antoine moving. He's covered at the break, but he continues to move to the outside. Brian Dawkins has got his back turned to the quarterback. Good combination, wide receiver, quarterback staying with that one.
Randall did pick up the first. James Thrash, the former Eagle, in motion. Portis bottled up. Chris Gokong along with Quentin Michael. Michael starting for the injured Sean Considine.
That has been another one of the challenges for this Philadelphia Eagles defense also. It's been a revolving door in the back end of this defense when you talk about the secondary. A lot of injuries, several different starting lineups through the course of the season.
Second and 10, punch formation to the right. Campbell, pump fake. Now he throws. Intended for Keenan McCardell. Kurt Menefee, what's going on with the Packers and the Vikings?
Well, what's going on is Ryan Grant. He spent a year on the Giants practice squad, a year on IR, and was traded at the end of training camp to the Packers. Looks like all he needed was a chance. His first NFL touchdown gives Green Bay a 7-0 lead over the Vikes. Kenny, moves from Deuce.
Now what a challenge it's been to be a Green Bay Packer running back this season. Throughout training camp and even during the course of the season, been tough for those guys to stay healthy. Ryan Grant gets his chance now.
Ryan Grant spent training camp with the New York Giants, giving the Packers the early lead. Campbell on 3rd and 10, pulled it down, then took off, looking for the chains, but he's tackled by Takeo Spikes, about 5 yards shy of the marker.
Brian Dawkins coming from the outside on the blitz. Clinton Portis gets him upfield just enough to allow Jason Campbell to step up, and then Darren Howard has an opportunity, misses him. And there you see the speed of Jason Campbell. Takeo Spikes had a nice angle on him, and Jason Campbell was able to turn the corner.
Reno Mahe back deep, awaiting the punt from Derek Frost. Fair catch at the 13-yard line. The Eagles with a 7-0 lead, thanks to the 7th touchdown of the year, scored by Brian Westbrook. Kenny Albert, Daryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. Philadelphia Eagles with a 7-0 lead over the Washington Redskins. Eagles started their first possession on their own 18-yard line. Now they begin at their own 14. And that has been a common thread, as Daryl mentioned, throughout the season. Poor starting field position. This is Westbrook, and Westbrook takes it out to the 18. Brought down after a gain of 4 by Philip Daniels.
Well, the Washington Redskins are kind of going back to how they were playing defense prior to last week's game. You look there, weeks 5 through 8, just one blitz in 164 plays. But last week against Kellen Clemens, having his second start, young guy, over half the plays, they brought pressure, and it was very effective starting in the second quarter. I think they need to find a balance this afternoon because Philadelphia showed on that opening drive they have the ability to go the length of the field.
2 tight ends of the game, 2nd down and 6. Off the play fake, McNabb takes off. McNabb slides, picked up a first down, slides out to the 28-yard line.
There's a big example of what Donovan McNabb is doing in his comeback from that knee injury. John Runyon said, you know, he can get out, but he's still having trouble getting away, which means, yeah, he feels the pressure. He can get outside of the pressure, but he's having trouble getting away from it. And you saw an example of that on the first play of the game last week against Dallas when they got him from behind and forced a turnover. Right there, showing that he's getting ready and he's getting closer to being back to the way he played before that injury.
Donovan told us he feels the knee is at about 85%. The handoff to Westbrook. Not much. Westbrook gains one out to the 29-yard line. Just over 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Eagles drove 82 yards on their opening drive, helped out by 3 penalties against the Washington defense.
You know, just watching Donovan on that scramble, one thing that really comes to mind is that ball, he needs to tuck that ball away. When he crosses the line of scrimmage, he can't have that ball in that hand, palming it like it's a basketball. The defensive linemen, the linebackers will all go and attack that. That's when the turnovers will happen.
Westbrook split to the right. 2nd and 10. And the pass goes to the tight end, L.J. Smith. Ball comes loose.
He got caught trying to change the ball. Good hustle by the Redskins, getting people around to make a tackle, get some contact. I think they came up with it. If they didn't, Brian Westbrook, he's down at the bottom of that pile all by himself.
It is Redskins football.
That's one drill that Greg Blosh and Greg Williams have in that Redskins defense every day, is attack the ball. And you'll see more turnovers from this team by them attacking the ball and running to the ball than almost every other team.
This guy, you talked about it there, Tony. Very loose with the ball, L.J. Smith, as he's coming back inside. He had it in his left hand the whole time anyways. He's got it in the inside arm, gets it away from his body. The speed of the defender in the NFL, and when you have a coach that preaches pursuit and getting to the ball to generate turnovers, you've got to know that philosophy and be much more secure with that ball.
Demetric Evans forced the fumble. It was recovered by Rocky McIntosh. So the Redskins, 1st and 10 from the Eagles 35. Portis up the middle. Portis gaining 3, setting up 2nd down and 7.
One thing watching this offense is if you're going to run the ball in between the tackles, you need to go and get your wide receivers outside. You see these guys, how close they are? There's a guy right here, right outside, inside the numbers. Spread them out. Bring these safeties, this guy and the guy out over here, outside, away from the play. 2 less guys you got to worry about. Spread that offense open. It's something we talked about in the open, and people have been talking about for years with Joe Gibbs' offense.
Campbell on 2nd and 7. Keenan McCardell coming up with his 5th catch as a Redskin, tackled by Lito Shepard. 3rd and 1 coming up.
Good tackle by Lito Shepard. He was playing off, gave Keenan McCardell plenty of room to work, but he came up, secured that tackle, forces a 3rd and short.
Career reception number 866. McCardell 8th all time. Third down and 1, the toss to Portis. Portis inside the 20, he spins, and is finally tackled at the 15-yard line by Sheldon Brown after a gain of 11.
Both offenses have been able to use this play early in the game to take advantage of the speed and the aggressive nature of these defenses. You fake it inside, and then you get your running back on the perimeter very quickly with that pitch. A much more open game plan by Joe Gibbs this week than last week. We've seen a couple of attempts down the field, some variations in the running game.
Again, the Redskins send Lorenzo Alexander into the game as a 6th offensive lineman. From the Eagles 15, Portis. And that should do it for the first quarter. The Eagles marched 82 yards on the opening drive. And now the Redskins trying to capitalize on the first turnover of the game.
Philadelphia's defensive lineman doing a really good job on that zone blocking we just saw on that stretch play. The guys are looking for that cutback, but you have to stay on your feet. And the defense line did a good job of coming down. There was nothing there.
So after 1, it's the Eagles 7, the Redskins nothing. Fox NFL Sunday will return after these messages from your local Fox station. Veterans Day weekend in our nation's capital. Campbell can't find anyone, takes off inside the 5, and he is brought down inside the 2-yard line by Omar Gaither. Jason Campbell getting a new set of downs for the Redskins.
The Philadelphia Eagles are in man-to-man coverage in the red zone. You're going to have a play fake to your right. Jason Campbell wants to go back to the left. And look at the running lane he's got. Look at everybody's coming this way in pursuit, and it leaves this entire side of the field wide open. Look at the middle of the field opened up because of the coverage Philadelphia got caught in.
3 tight ends set, including Lorenzo Alexander. Mike Sellers took the inside handoff, but the play blown dead prior to the snap.
Todd Yoder's motioning in. He got square to the line of scrimmage. Went forward a little bit. Number 87, I think.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 87 offense, 5-yard penalty. First down.
Critical penalty. Critical penalty when you're down that close to the goal line. Yards are so tough in this part of the field. To give up 5, costly error.
Penalty forces the Redskins back to the 7-yard line. James Thrash split to the right. Sellers and Portis in the backfield. First and goal from the 7. The toss to Portis with Sellers leading the way. And Portis takes it down the sidelines. Forced out by Omar Gaither at the 4.
Eagles are doing a really nice job of pursuit. Coming down the line of scrimmage, everybody running to the ball. That's the only reason why they didn't get the end zone on that play. Bringing the big boys in, Moose.
Yeah, a lot of change by Philadelphia's defense on that. Not a big substitution by Washington. Oh, there's the big man at fullback, 79.
Alexander at fullback in front of Portis. Second and goal from the 4. Off the play fake. Campbell throws it out of the end zone.
Again, we're seeing some aggressive play calling by Joe Gibbs, though, to start this game. You get the big bodies in there, as Tony mentioned. You saw the substitutions coming. Lorenzo Alexander normally playing that tight end spot in their goal line package. They bring him in, put him in fullback, but run a play action bootleg to the right.
Now Thrash and Randall check in. Remember, the Redskins do not have a touchdown pass to a wide receiver all season. Randall split to the left. Thrash in the slot to the right. Cooley shifting. 3rd and goal. Campbell to the end zone. James Thrash makes the catch. And the Redskins finally have a touchdown pass to a wide receiver.
That's a nice throw by Jason Campbell. I mean, he got that right over the outstretched hand of Lito Shepherd. They were trying to get Chris Cooley in the flat right away. You saw that little motion. Watch, he's going to come back. And now break real quick. You're trying to get him isolated right out in the flat. Philadelphia's not fooled. Lito Shepherd actually got caught taking a look at that. Let James Thrash get in behind him.
First touchdown of the season for the former Eagle Thrash. And then Siragusa pulls the extra point attempt to the left, but there is a flag.
Illegal formation. Number 92 offense. 5-yard penalty. Will retry.
No, you won't. It's on the offense.
It was no good. That penalty's declined. Timeout.
Moose, way to help him out, man. Way to be a team player. You're a true team player, baby.
Hey, how deflating is that, Tony? You get the turnover, go in and get 7 points, or you think you're going to get 7 points. And Shazam, your kicker, snap hooks one.
Saw the fumble, the big run by Campbell, and the touchdown. 7-6. Back in our nation's capital on Veterans Day weekend, Eagles leading 7-6. Sean Sweezum, Daryl, the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week after kicking 5 field goals against the Jets. Just missed an extra point.
7 days to humility.
Yes. J.R. Reed on the return for the Eagles. Breaks away from Corey Campbell and then is slammed to the turf by Rock Cartwright at the 28-yard line. Why is this game not tied at 7? Wide left. Game 1 of the NFC East today on Fox. Cowboys and Giants coming up later. Best starting field position of the day for the Eagles as Westbrook looks to turn the corner. Gains 3 out to the 32. McNabb 7 of 8 and a touchdown shovel pass to Brian Westbrook, who has 49 total yards. A couple of catches for Hank Baskett.
Second down and 6 for
Eagles 3 and 5 coming off a loss to Dallas. A win on the road in Minnesota the week prior. Second down and 6. It's Westbrook again. And Westbrook takes it out to the 37-yard line. Stopped 2 yards shy of a first. Daryl, from an Eagles standpoint, big division game today, and they have Miami next week, so the Eagles trying to claw their way back to 500.
They have an opportunity to play themselves back into it. A huge game for Washington, too, if they could win today. They'll have to wait and see what happens in that second NFC game this afternoon with Dallas. You know, they could be playing for the NFC East lead next week. So a big game for both of these teams. Philadelphia, their back is against the wall at 3 and 5 at this stage, and 0 and 3 in the division.
Empty backfield, 3rd down and 2. McNabb takes off and picks up the first. He was tackled by Fletcher, but reached the 40-yard line. Now keep in mind, the Eagles had the big second half. Of course, McNabb was out. Jeff Garcia was the starting quarterback, but last season the Eagles went 6-2 over their last 8 games.
They really did, when I think a lot of people felt they were out of the NFC East divisional race, and they were able to claw their way back into it. There we see Fred Smoot going out right now. Now he was a little bit questionable coming into this game, and if Greg Williams was not going to bring pressure with Fred Smoot in the lineup, there's no way he's going to do it with Lee Torrance out there.
Redskins already without a starting quarterback. Carlos Rogers out for the season. 3rd catch of the game for Baskett. And Baskett takes it out to the 47 as we check in once again with Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Well, Eagles fans keeping an eye across state in Pittsburgh will love to hear that the Cleveland Browns are on top as Derek Anderson finds Lawrence Figures for a 14-3 lead in the second quarter. Back to Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
Boy, those Cleveland Browns. Under the radar, Goose.
Yeah, they're playing well.
Steelers have won their last 8 against the Browns. Toss to Westbrook. Stopped just shy of midfield. So a 3rd down and 1 coming up for the Eagles, who took a 7-0 lead in the first quarter. They drove 82 yards. And then the Redskins capitalized on an L.J. Smith fumble. Cut the Eagles lead to 1. Reggie Brown split to the left, Curtis to the right. 3rd down and 1, the toss to Westbrook. And he dives forward into Redskins territory for a first down.
I thought he was going to be stopped for a 5-yard loss, Brian Westbrook, but he just has a knack of making people miss. Watch him right here in the backfield. He goes, he's 5 yards deep right now. 2 defenders right in front of him right here. Goes, gets the first down. I mean, that's the difference between a regular running back, a guy who's going to go and somebody touches him, he falls down, and a Brian Westbrook that goes and finds a way to make first down. I hated playing against guys like that. You look bad,
On first down, taking it down to the 47-yard line was Tony Hunt. How did the Redskins prepare for Brian Westbrook, who's checked back into the game? Well, his brother Byron is a rookie cornerback on the Washington practice squad, but the Redskins had Byron emulate his brother during practice this week.
That's about as close as you can get.
Byron out of Division III Salisbury State, hoping to get a shot with the Redskins sometime this season. McNabb setting up the screen to Brian Westbrook on 2nd and 8, and Byron's brother brings it down to the 40 before he's tackled by Demetric Evans.
A good play by Randall Godfrey, because that looked like it had the potential to get a big game for Philadelphia. Philadelphia, in my opinion, one of the best screen teams in the NFL, and that one looked like it had potential, but Randall Godfrey, number 57 right there, he's going to be living a little bit. He took on all those big linemen that were out in front.
Godfrey, a former teammate of yours at Dallas.
He's a good football player. A solid addition by the Washington Redskins in the offseason, especially with Marcus Washington out of the lineup right now.
3rd down and 2. McNabb overthrows the intended receiver, tight end Brent Selleck.
We talk about Brian Westbrook and what he does with the football in his hand, but to be a really good player, it's what you do when the football's not in your hand. Donovan McNabb has the opportunity to throw that ball to Brent Selleck, because on the backside, watch Brian Westbrook in protection, going to his left against Pearson Prelude. He stones him. You can't do that any better.
Sav Rocker punting for the first time, the former Australian football star, and a fair catch inside the 10-yard line made by Antoine Randall. Eagles lead the Redskins 7-6 midway through the 2nd quarter. Redskins will start from their own 8-yard line following the punt. On 1st down, Clinton Portis out across the 10, a gain of 2. Coming up next on Fox.
Well, Philadelphia did it last week. They wanted to find out where they stood. They felt that the road through the NFC East still went through Philadelphia. They found out that that might not be the case. I think the Giants want to find out who they are as a team. You look at their last 3 victories against Miami, the Jets, the Falcons. They need to play a team like Dallas to see if they're for real.
Giants have won 6 in a row after starting the season 0-2. Portis out to the 14-yard line.
I'll tell you what, one thing I think people aren't taking into consideration watching the Giants, we had them the last time they played in London, and that field was so bad that, you really got to take into consideration the speed of that defense. That defensive line is fast. They got the ends that are going to contain Romo. I think Romo's going to have a tough time against that defense of the Giants.
Cowboys put up 45 points on the Giants week 1, but it is a much different Giants defense than the Cowboys saw back in early September. Campbell on 3rd down and 3, and the catch is made by James Thrash for a Redskins first down, a 31-yard pass play.
There it is.
We knew they could do it, Moose, right? We knew they could do it.
Double move on the outside, William James. Number 83, James Thrash at the top. Now that's what they did the first time they played. They ran sticks routes. You get beyond the first down marker, turn around, make the catch. So they, the Philadelphia Eagles, watching that old game film. All right, now let's be careful. We get into the 3rd down situations. Cover that sticks area. Great call by the Redskins. A little double move right beyond the sticks.
First time in 20 quarters, guys, the Redskins complete a pass for over 30 yards. And now with the play clock winding down, the Redskins use their first timeout. Eagles leading the Redskins 7-6 following the timeout. First and 10 for Washington from their own 46-yard line. They started this drive back at their own 8. 3 wide receivers. Penalty markers, movement prior to the snap.
False start. Number 71 offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's the right tackle, Todd Wade, the 5th Washington penalty.
Yeah, definitely one of the areas that they have to get cleaned up. I mean, you're a team that throughout the course of the season has played, you've beaten the teams you should, you haven't beaten the teams that are on that next level, and when you have penalties, it's going to make it even more difficult.
First and 15 following the penalty. Portis in the backfield, 3 wide receivers set. Portis out to the 48-yard line before he was forced back by Takeo Spikes. Gain of 6 yards on the play.
You know, looking at both of these running backs, they're very similar the way they run. These are hard runners, running downfield, running through arm tackles. Clinton Portis, he was stopped there for a little while, kept his legs driving, knees up, got himself another 3-4 yards on that play.
Portis replaced Goose by Liddell Betts. Campbell out of the shotgun on second down. And the catch is made by McCardell in Eagles territory. Lito Shepard on the coverage. Well, the Eagles have gone through 5 different combinations, Daryl, of starting defensive backs this season.
And what happens there, it's not only on the game on Sunday, but during the course of the week in practice, whether it was Lito Shepard or Brian Dawkins, you know, some of your leaders on the defense that can't be there during the preparation.
3rd and 2, and Randall L. picks up a first down. So the Redskins move the chains. We mentioned the most recent injury in the secondary, Sean Considine, injured his shoulder, placed on IR this week. Four and a half remaining second quarter. Campbell on first down. He was looking for Brandon Lloyd, who was deactivated last week after missing a team meeting. How about Jason Campbell today? 6 completions, Daryl. All 6 have gone to the wide receivers, not the norm here in Washington.
Yeah, last week it was all running backs and tight ends to start the game, so obviously there's some urgency to get the ball to the outside to your wide receivers to make some plays.
Doing it without Santana Moss today. 3 wide receivers on second and 10. Campbell looking downfield, and again it's James Thrash. Thrash filling in for the injured Moss, has his 3rd catch of the first half, and it's his 2nd that's gone for 31 yards.
Well, you've got a matchup that you like right now. William James is struggling against James Thrash. Keep throwing this pass. Keep making him work on the outside. And Tony, I agree with you. That's just going to help open up things in the underneath passing game because you're worried about that ball getting over the top.
Yeah, them linebackers are worried. You got one-on-one coverage outside. They missed the block. Somebody's got to get them down. Now they got 2 things to worry about, the run game and the pass game.
Thrash had only 3 receptions all season. He has 3 today. Portis. Nowhere to go. Quentin Michael came up to make the tackle along with Lawan Ramsey.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a play-action pass coming, Moose. On that play with Brian Westbrook in the backfield, as soon as he went and he moved, those linebackers are on him. So if they're biting on his movement right now, it's going to leave that middle of the field a little bit open.
Goose, 10th play of the drive coming up. Redskins started on their own 8. 2 31-yard pass plays from Campbell to Thrash. Cooley shifting, second down, and the 11. Campbell looking, end zone, touchdown! It's Thrash again.
Moose, you called it. Joe Gibbs is notorious. If something's working, stay with it. And he stayed with the pass and going to Thrash.
Yeah, the other thing I'm seeing from Jason Campbell today is some great touch. Yeah, he's got a strong arm, but some of his balls are on that straight line, not a lot of trajectory. But this is the 2nd touchdown pass to James Thrash that's had excellent touch on it. Again, they're getting him on double moves. They're taking advantage of the aggressive style in the Eagles secondary.
And now the Redskins will go for 2 after missing their previous extra point attempt.
I don't agree with this. It's too early. Line up, kick the extra point, and get to 13.
Redskins converted a 2-point conversion last week against the Jets. Campbell could not find anyone in the end zone. And the Redskins lead will remain 12-7.
Yeah, I just don't like those calls. It's early in the game. You made a mistake in the kicking game that got you on a 6, but don't compound it by going for 2 points early. Well,
Right.
Joe Gibbs, last week, that's all about pounding the football and controlling it with the running game and playing off your defense. But today, different approach today. I'm enjoying this. Giving Jason Campbell an opportunity to stretch the field a little bit. A couple double moves called.
Redskins' longest scoring drive of the season, 92 yards. And Washington has their first lead of the game. J.R. Reed on the return. He tried to hurdle Reed Dowdy. A look at James Thrash, who spent 3 years with the Eagles, his 4th season back in Washington. He has both touchdowns. Jason Campbell, 8 of 11. All 8 of his completions, Daryl, have gone to the wide receivers.
Completely different approach than how they started the game last week against the New York Jets, when the balls were going to the running backs and tight ends all game.
Now the Eagles, with 3 minutes remaining in the first half, start from their own 24. McNabb with time, and the pass is short. It was intended for Kevin Curtis. London Fletcher on the coverage.
And after an impressive opening drive by the Eagles, a little bit of help from that Redskin defense on a 3rd down penalty to keep the drive alive, but they have been out of sync. I mean, the timing, the balls and the skipping into the receiver, it looks completely out of sync right now.
Three wide receivers, 2nd and 10. Westbrook cuts to his left. Rocky McIntosh made the tackle. Eagles have all 3 of their timeouts. Third down and 7 coming up for Philadelphia. They have to get to the 34-yard line for a first down. Down to Westbrook. And London Fletcher came up to make the tackle, stopping Westbrook 2 yards short.
Greg Williams told us if Brian Westbrook gets the ball in the middle of the field, we're going to try and have 2 or 3 guys try and corral him. And they're fortunate they did on this one, because somehow he almost came out of it. Look at everybody coming. Pearson Prelude from the outside. Here comes LaRon Landry, and then London Fletcher from this direction, all converging on him. He still almost came out.
Redskins use a timeout, so they do not let the Eagles take the clock all the way down to the 2-minute warning. So it will give Washington some extra time. Antoine Randall back deep. Awaiting the punt from Rocca. Randall out of bounds, just shy of the 30. So the Redskins, with a 12-7 lead, will go back on offense, but first, the 2-minute warning. Field position, again, a factor today, as the Eagles made a change in their kick return unit, but it has not helped, averaging less than 12 yards per return.
Yeah, but the other thing is the turnover, and Washington's defense was able to generate a turnover to put their offense on a short field and get a touchdown. Philadelphia's defense has really struggled generating turnovers to give their offense a short field.
Redskins drove 92 yards on their last possession. Now Campbell airing it out. He's looking for Brandon Lloyd, a diving attempt, but unable to make the catch.
Sends a message, though, Goose.
That downfield, that's a threat. And he tell you what, that middle of the field was wide open. This is a nice defense.
Brandon Lloyd is somebody who they are waiting for to take that next step. Clint Portis told us to watch what he does on the practice field. And he's got so much potential, but for some reason, he hasn't been able to transfer that to the playing field yet.
Lloyd only 2 catches this season. Redskins have taken 4 long shots downfield in this first half. 2nd and 10, Portis. And Portis takes it out to the 35-yard line, a gain of 7.
That play action has been making that defensive line for the Eagles almost hesitate. They don't know whether it's run, pass, gives them a little bit more time back there in the backfield. I mean, you see Jason Campbell standing back there. He has all day back there to go and find his receivers.
Redskins without Santana Moss today. And James Thrash has done a terrific job filling in for Moss. Throw down at 3. Portis takes it up close to the first down. Our yellow line is unofficial.
This has been an interesting series by the Redskins offense. I mean, you're in a 2-minute situation, but not really a sense of urgency at any point during that drive. You know, they take the big shot down the field, but on the play after the Clinton Portis run on 2nd down, they didn't even really get right up to the line of scrimmage. You know, kind of a makeshift hurry-up huddle. Roderick Bunkley going out.
Redskins also may have given the Eagles a couple of extra seconds by calling that timeout with 2:08 remaining prior to the Eagles' punt. So the Eagles with 2 timeouts remaining. Redskins have 1 as they bring out the chains. The chains are official, Daryl.
Yes, they are. Whatever they say goes.
Yellow line unofficial, chains official. Redskins stop short.
It was an odd series. A little bit of indecision on what they wanted to accomplish, and as you pointed out, Kenny, they're going to give the ball back to Philadelphia with a good amount of time left to try and get some points here before halftime.
Redskins went deep on the first play, but go 3 and out.
We showed Santana Moss earlier there. I'll tell you what, he has a heel injury, but that heel's going to get a lot better, a lot faster, I think, Moose. He's watching James Thrash go and catch those balls out there.
Oh, yeah, sure. Throw the ball down the field when I'm out.
Good kick by Frost. Taken out to 16 by Mahe, and guess who is downfield to make the tackle? It's James Thrash.
That's just been a great first half by James Thrash, working on Jose Leo Hansen. I mean, he beats him right off the release. He's in front of him the whole time. And when you're one-on-one on the outside, you got to give Reno Mahe at least an opportunity to catch the ball and have a few seconds before he's got somebody right in his face.
James Thrash did a great job of looking back. You saw it on that replay there. Looking back, finding the ball and timing it up. Because a lot of guys will go run in. We saw some not too smart penalties earlier in this game, but nice job by him going and finding the ball.
So again, Goose, poor field position for the Eagles. The Visa halftime report is coming up with Kurt, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy. McNabb out of the shotgun, inside handoff. Westbrook, he's tackled by Pearson Prelo at the 24-yard line.
I'll tell you what, the Redskins are really doing a great job of tackling. You know, a lot of teams that go, if they weren't tackling good today, you would see Brian Westbrook with 100 more yards. Open field tackling has been great by the Redskins today.
Westbrook had 44 yards on the opening drive. He has 82 in all. Fox tomorrow. Strap yourself in for an explosive all-new Prison Break. The action begins tomorrow at 8, 7 Central, only on Fox. Viewer discretion is advised. What an episode, Daryl, this past Monday. 2 hours, action-packed.
Yeah, if you like action, that's the show you want to watch.
You got to come down to Texas, Goose. They film it down in Texas.
It's like a video game, man. You know, I play them video games, a one-person guy, you know. I couldn't be a military guy. You know, we got a lot of military here today in the stands, but a little bit too big to be in the military. I like playing those.
Height-wise or other?
Well, you know, a little bit of height, you know, a little bit of size in general, Daryl. Thank you.
McNabb on 2nd and 3 fires to Kevin Curtis, and Curtis able to pick up the first down. Also stops the clock out of bounds with 43 seconds remaining in the half.
Well, that was a nice effort at the end of that catch and run. Just those little things like that, the ability to stop that clock without having to use your last timeout. Continue to keep that middle of the field in play by holding that last timeout.
Line of scrimmage now the 33. 43 seconds remaining in the half. McNabb pump fakes, stays behind the line of scrimmage. Now he takes off and is out of bounds right around the first down marker. Just shy, out of bounds at the 42-yard line with 35 seconds remaining.
Again, testing the patience of Donovan McNabb as the quarterback. Now, I know that this is, you know, right before the half and you don't want anybody to get behind you, but there really hasn't been that much difference in how they're approaching this 2-minute situation, this hurry-up situation, as they have all game. They are not going to let the Philadelphia Eagles get somebody behind them for a big play.
They're taking the saying, keep everything in front of you to the extreme on this field.
McNabb going deep on 2nd and 1. Curtis, the intended receiver, Sean Springs on the coverage.
Great play by Sean Springs, because what he does, he keeps his eyes back on the ball, and he can get on top of Kevin Curtis as long as his head is back. That's very good position by Sean Springs on that throw down the sideline. You can see Donovan McNabb wants to get the ball down the field.
It's 3rd and 1. Eagles need to gain about 23, 25 yards to get into field goal range for David Akers. But first they have to pick up the first down. Westbrook does, and more into Redskins territory, and now the Eagles will use their final timeout. Westbrook took it 13 yards to the Washington 45-yard line.
He gets through there fast, Tony. I mean, he's in high gear in his 2nd or 3rd step.
When he gets to that line of scrimmage, boom! I mean, he's going upfield, his head's on a swivel, but that body is going upfield. He's just got another gear. Right here, you see it, boom! He makes that little cut. I mean, that is so hard when you're a defensive lineman or even a linebacker. When he has that extra gear, I mean, you can't get the angle. Out there, you try to go and get the angle on a guy and meet him at a point, but when he has that other gear, sometimes you cut short, and that's why we're seeing him going and getting yards after contact.
23 seconds remaining in the half. Eagles with no timeouts remaining. Westbrook, 95 total yards. Akers' season log is a 53-yard field goal, which means the Redskins would have to get to the 35.
Is that a free 5?
Offside, number 96 defense, unabated to the quarterback, 5-yard penalty, first down.
A free 5 yards, Cornelius Griffin, as the Redskins are whistled for their 6th penalty of the first half.
Trying to catch that edge, get off the ball. He might have squeezed that ball or gave him a little false snap there. That's the way you got to come off the ball. That's a nice coming off the ball by Cornelius.
From the Redskins 40. McNabb to the outside. He was looking for Reggie Brown.
And that's the pressure we've been wondering where it's been all day by these Redskins. They do a nice job of getting on the line of scrimmage. And boom, popping one free, coming, taking the shot.
LaRon Landry up the middle.
Even though Donovan gets this ball off, he's still going to go and say, man, when these guys are on the line of scrimmage, that still stays in your head, Moose.
Well, he's a good blitzer, Tony. I mean, he disguised it well. He got real low as he came to the inside. I think whoever was responsible for him just completely lost track of him.
McNabb on 2nd and 5. Pass a bit high again. He was looking for Reggie Brown.
The pass is a bit high, but Reggie Brown, I want to see the replay. It looks like he's slow coming out of his break, so his timing on his jump to get it is completely off. I just think that he was late coming out of that break, and he didn't have the right timing to go up. The ball's coming out on time. But Donovan struggled a little bit in this first half with his accuracy. He's been low, he's been high.
Now 3rd down and 5, 14 seconds remaining. McNabb to the near side, Curtis out of bounds at the 35. Remember, Akers' season high is a 53-yard field goal.
You got to kick it here, Moose. You got 10 seconds.
4th down too, Tony. He didn't get enough yards for the first down.
And this would be approximately a 53-yard attempt. So David Akers played 1 game with the Redskins back in '98. Now to attempt a 53-yarder. Walker the holder. His season high is 53. His career long is 57. Akers from 53. It is no good. Just short.
Goose, what's the wind like down there?
There's not much wind at all. You know, looking at the flags up at the top of the stadium, you would usually see them blowing in a direction. You see absolutely nothing up top, and there's nothing down here. I mean, that ball was close. It was only about a foot or two short. But I don't know how he hit it. It seems like he hit it pretty good, but there was no wind in his face or anything like that to slow that ball down.
Would have made it from 52.
Maybe we just have some pretty high expectations of David Akers from what he's done in the past.
So the Washington Redskins will take a 12-7 lead into the locker room at halftime. James Thrash with a huge first half, 2 touchdown receptions, will return after these messages. Veterans Day in our nation's capital, the Washington Redskins with a 12-7 halftime lead over the Philadelphia Eagles. Redskins did not have a touchdown catch by a wide receiver all season long. Big first half for James Thrash. 4 catches, 78 yards against his former team, including both Redskin touchdowns. Redskins have a 12-7 lead. The Visa halftime report is coming up.
The Visa Halftime Report is sponsored by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Life takes Visa.
And we welcome you to the Visa Halftime Report. Kurt Menefee along with Terry, Howie, and Jimmy. And it looks like the Washington Redskins realize they have wide receivers. James Thrash, first TD catches of the year by wideout.
Hey, Adrian Peterson, don't throw it to him, just hand it off. This guy will chunk it. Brett Favre, future Hall of Famer, tosses it to the Ryan Grant running back, tried to stretch it to the outside, goes against the flow, back inside, 30-yard touchdown run, and Green Bay, with the struggling rushing game, gets one there, 7-0 Packers. Favre out. 19-yard completion of Donald Driver, then puts Brett Favre in special company as he and Dan Marino, the only 2 quarterbacks to throw for over 60,000 yards. Packers 13-0 over the Minnesota Vikings. Vinny Testaverde, 43-year-old quarterback, got a bad Achilles tendon. That's all right. He's tough. He's playing. Ward Dunn, he's playing too. 30-yard touchdown run for the Atlanta Falcons, and it is 7-0 Falcons over Carolina until this pass. There it is. Harrington to Laurent Robinson. Robinson then fumbles. Ken Lucas scoops it up. 27-yard fumble return for a touchdown, and 7-7 it is Atlanta. Now Panthers 10-7 over the Atlanta Falcons. Got ahead of myself a little bit there. Reggie Bush, New Orleans Saints hosting the St. Louis Rams. Rams have won the last 3 games. Bush inside, great effort in from 7 yards out, 7-0 Saints. But Steven Jackson back in the second quarter, getting to play some football now. Injuries, growing a little bit of everything. What he can do, he can throw it deep. 2-yard touchdown pass to Randy McMichael. 17-7, the Rams, trap game over my New Orleans Saints. Fred Taylor over 10,000 yards rushing in his career. Congratulations, Fred Taylor. Jacksonville at Tennessee. Quinn Gray to Greg Jones in the flat. 2-yard touchdown, 7-0 Jacksonville over Tennessee. Then Maurice Jones-Drew, 8 yards straight up the middle. Nice ball game. Jacksonville and Tennessee with the Jaguars up 14-3. That now early in the third quarter. Cleveland at Pittsburgh. Derek Anderson getting ready to get real rich, this young man out of Oregon State. Into the flat to Kellen Winslow. He'll never have to give a corporate speech second quarter. He won't have to ever do television. Let it go. Derek Anderson, Braylon Edwards, this was still challenge. Ruled out of bounds. Throw it out there, Romeo. Don't dare do that to my Browns. Then it comes back, they overrule it. It is reversed. Touchdown, Browns 21-9 over Shocker. Steelers struggling at home.
Elsewhere, the Kansas City Chiefs and Denver Broncos struggling on offense, but KC has a 2-point lead at the break. Same story, but the Dolphins trying to get their first win, up 3-0 over Buffalo at halftime. All right, back to Philadelphia and Washington, Jimmy Johnston.
Yeah, the Eagles trying to get some pressure on Jason Campbell by rushing and playing man coverage on the outside. Jason Campbell, they're protecting him, throwing the ball to the wide receivers. Now, look for Jim Johnson, defense coordinator for Philadelphia, second half to go to zone coverage, back off the rushing. That way they'll be able to cover those wide receivers.
Yeah, and I think then they'll go back to pounding the football like they did last week. And Joe Bugle challenged that football team last week to do just that. Punch someone in the face, man to man. And I tell you, Jason Campbell, the thing that's impressive about him, Terry, he's good in the red zone, which is surprising. That's where a lot of young quarterbacks struggle. That's where he really flourishes down there.
The hardest place to play for a quarterback, a young quarterback, is inside the 20-yard line going in the score. Way too quick, not enough room to react. Nice job.
Plus, you got to have a running game down in the red zone.
And they have it.
They have a running
game.
game.
How much money do you think Anderson's going to make?
More than I'm ever going to draw. I can't even spell how much money he's going to make. I tell you what, he won't ever be here.
Do you still do corporate speaking?
Do you spell money?
Hey, I'm available. $1,250.
He's going to hold a card up with his number here soon, trying to get any he can. All right. The second half comes your way right after this as we continue with the Visa Halftime Report.
Enter
On Veterans Day in our nation's capital, halftime festivities. The United States Air Force Band, ceremonial brass, and flag bearers out on the field at halftime, Daryl. And I know yesterday you and our director, Michael Frank, were celebrating a birthday, had a chance to visit many of the monuments and memorials in Washington.
Yeah, we took the long walk over from Pentagon City and went to the Jefferson Memorial, up to the World War II Memorial, which I had never seen before, up to the Lincoln Memorial. So it was nice. It was very moving at the World War II Memorial with all the veterans there, and you saw some very emotional responses from some of the guys and their families. So it was a great experience. I'm really glad I took the time to go over there.
Moose, was it true that you had to give our producer or our director, Mike Frank, a piggyback ride back because he was so out of shape, or is that just hearsay?
He took a cab back. I walked on my own. Now, Mike made it all the way. He hung in there. He's sitting down in a chair in the truck. I know that. He's not standing.
A little sore.
All right, here we go. Second half is underway as David Akers kicks off to Ron Cartwright. Cartwright out across the 40 and finally tackled at the 41-yard line by William James, a 26-yard return. First half numbers pretty even, Daryl. Each team 172 total yards.
The big mistake by the Redskins in that first half was some of those penalties that helped Philadelphia out. But they were able to overcome them, and they've got a great start to the second half. Good job by Rock Cartwright. Field position definitely in Washington's favor this entire game.
And the only turnover in the first half led to the first Washington touchdown. Jason Campbell, 8 for 12, couple of touchdown passes to James Thrash. Brian Westbrook, 95 total yards. For more fantasy numbers, log on to foxsports.com. This will be the best starting field position of the game for the Redskins. Donovan McNabb, 12 of 18 in the first half. 79 yards, 1 touchdown. From the 41, Portis gaining 6 out to the 47-yard line, setting up second down and 4.
A nice little wrinkle on kind of a screenplay there to bring the wide receiver in. It looked like he was going to run a slant. All of a sudden, he lines up to block. And, boy, they've been really working on Donovan McNabb since he's come out from halftime.
That one blitz, he took a pretty good shot. I don't know if it hurt his shoulder or whatever, but they've been stretching him and working on, just moving it around. A lot of work going on Donovan McNabb on the sideline.
A lot of Winston. Doesn't look very comfortable.
Eagles defense out on the field. 2nd down and 4. Portis up the middle. 1st down and more. Quentin Michael finally brings Portis down after a gain of 12.
Mike Patterson, the defensive lineman, Clinton Portis went right by him. 1, 2, 3 in that play. There we see Donovan McNabb. But let's go back to the play. Watch Clinton Portis right here. He goes, he makes the cut. They do a spin on the line of scrimmage. You don't want to be spinning on the line of scrimmage, but he does a nice job of switching into another gear. Seeing both of these running backs running very well today.
3 wide receivers. Randall L. shifting. The handoff to Portis on 1st down. Found another big ball, and it gains 9 before he was tackled by Sheldon Brown.
That's surprising because the Philadelphia Eagles knew that they wanted to get Clinton Portis on the edges. You know, that's their bread and butter play, getting him outside, whether it's a toss, the stretch play. They had that corner sealed very quickly. There was nobody out there in run support.
Portis last week, his first 100-yard game of the season, gained 196 against the Jets. Redskins now send in 2 tight ends, along with Alexander. Off the play fake, Campbell, Cooley, and that is the first catch today for the tight end Chris Cooley, and he picks up a 1st down.
Good decision by Jason Campbell. They've got tiered routes. They've got James Thrash down the field in case the big play opens up. But watch him go through his decision-making process. Philly plays it well on the play action. Just check it down. Get it to Chris Cooley. Move the chains. Get yourself 3 more downs.
All 8 of Campbell's completions in the first half went to the wide receivers. From just inside the 30, penalty markers, as Portis leans forward and gains 2. Redskins were called for 6 penalties in the first half.
At the snap, offside, number 78 in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, replay 1st down.
Only the 2nd Eagle penalty. It's called on the rookie out of Notre Dame, Victor Abiamiri. The Baltimore native, who's playing in only his 2nd game of the season, as Roderick Bunkley limps off, replaced by LaJuan Ramsey. Campbell on 1st and 5. Campbell to Cooley. And Chris Cooley has another Redskins 1st down. His 2nd catch of the half, and he gains 10 yards.
Was that a set play, Tony? Was that like a design screen?
It looked like it. Cooley sort of came out of the line of scrimmage and looked right back. The offensive line looked like they let that defensive line right through and sort of set up that middle screen. Let's take a look at it right here. You see Cooley on the right-hand side, goes and makes the block. Boom, his head turns around, looking for that. And that's a nice play if that's a design play. It looks like it was, though.
From the Eagles 14. Campbell to Thrash. Thrash has his 5th reception of the game, and he's tackled at the Eagles 7-yard line.
Well, you heard Jimmy Johnson at the halftime talk about Jim Johnston probably having to go back to some zone defense. I don't know. I think he may have to start blitzing a little bit more because the down line is not getting there. Chris Samuels battling with Trent Cole on the outside. I think right now the Redskins offensive line has taken control of this, and if they're going to get to Jason Campbell, they're going to have to manufacture the pressure with a blitz.
Second down and 3, Portis.
You know what, Moose? I played under Jim Johnson when I played for the Colts, and he's not afraid to go and run blitzes. Everyone thinks that you just run blitzes during pass plays, but he likes to run them. Even in the run situation, you have a possibility of getting a tackle for a loss, and it really clogs up that middle and forces the backs to go to the outside and running laterals, what Jim Johnston wants to make you do.
Even with some of those big plays down the field that are given up by his secondary, he'll still come with it, Goose?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's got to have faith in those corners, though, to hug up.
Goose, 3rd down and 1 for the Redskins. Mike Sellers over the top. Omar Gaither, the middle linebacker. First Eagle to make contact with Sellers.
They're not going to go for it, are they, Moose?
Have to wait and see where the spot is.
They made a bad decision on trying to go for 2 early in the game, and you brought that up, but go for it here. If you get stuck, I don't know. I would put the 3 on the board.
Here comes the field goal unit. Sean Sweezum, who missed the extra point.
I'm a fan of Mike Sellers and everything he does for this offense, but it's tough to ask a 265, 270-pound guy to go over the top.
And guys, the Redskins forced to use a timeout with the play clock winding down and the field goal unit running onto the field. A 23-yard field goal attempt for Sweezum, who hit 5 last week. And Sweezum extends the Redskins lead. It is now 15-7.
Now we got to keep an eye on that 2-point attempt earlier in the game, because this is a 1-possession game, because they elected to go for 2 and didn't get it.
The Washington Redskins looking to raise their record to 6-3 for the first time since the 2000 season. Lead the Philadelphia Eagles 15-7. J.R. Reed on the return. And Reed will stop just shy of the 30-yard line.
Yeah, there's just nothing there. And, you know, I don't know if it's the return guy, because when you put Carell Buckhalter back there and you put J.R. Reed, look where they're starting out this afternoon: 18, 14, 29, 24, 17. I mean, their average start is at their own 20. I'm going to start looking at the guys up front. Are you guys getting back? Are you creating a running lane or a return lane for your guys that are back there? Because when you're revolving, you got a revolving door going on with your returner, but the results are the same. Okay, now I got to shift my focus up front on the guys who are blocking.
And this is the best starting field position of the game for the Eagles from their own 30. The handoff to Westbrook, tries to bounce it outside, but he was wrapped up by Cornelius Griffin.
This is their best starting position of today, but when you talk about what's gone on all season, I mean, to start at the 40-yard line or better is kind of getting yourself on a manageable field to get some points. They're the 2nd worst team in the NFL. Denver is the only team who's had fewer drives start at their 40 or beyond. And again, it's the function of the return teams. The defense isn't generating turnovers. This offense is forced to go the long haul time after time after time.
2nd and 10. McNabb backpedaling. Can't find anyone. Down he goes. Back at the 18-yard line. That won't help the Eagles' field position. Cornelius Griffin with the sack.
That ball's got to come out. Donovan McNabb has just got to find a guy and deliver the ball in his area. He's still in the pocket, so he can't just throw it away. But in this situation right here, it's all falling apart. There's Brian Westbrook. Throw it at his feet. Just throw it right now at his feet.
They did a great job, the Redskins, only rushing 4, getting that much pressure.
So following the sack, it's now 3rd down and 21. Eagles have to get to the 40. And the pass is caught, but it looks like Jason Avant was stopped just short. It will depend on the spot. Sean Taylor limping off the field to the Redskins sidelines.
Sean Taylor, he's got something going on. He's got a bad shoulder. He's got something going on, whether that's a burner or something in his shoulder. But he came in and out of the lineup a couple times last week. He's not healthy at this stage of the season right now.
Here come the change. Eagles were in 3rd and 21. McNabb's pass was caught by Jason Avant, the second-year receiver out of Michigan. And Avant was stopped just shy of the 40-yard line.
The sack. I mean, you know, you take that loss in yardage and you come up short like that. It's very difficult to come up with that play. Andy Reid, wow, he is rolling the dice here, Goose.
Hey, he lives on the edge. You got a couple inches. I would watch the hard count. Donovan's very good with the hard count. But then again, if they don't get somebody to jump, they're going to burn a timeout, even if they do try that.
So the Eagles going for it on 4th and inches.
I say he snaps the ball, Goose. I say he's going for it. He's not trying to draw him.
Quarterback sneak.
No, look at the stack right over the center. I put Westbrook on the perimeter real fast right now.
McNabb on the sneak.
You know, they mentioned Donovan McNabb's hard to take down. He's a big, bone body guy. He has the drive in his legs, and he really just went behind the center and just pushed and kept his feet moving and got the first down, it looks like to me.
Oh, they got the first down. They gave the signal. What a great job by Todd Harriman, Jamal Jackson, Sean Andrews. Look at the Redskins. They're all stacked up there. They get down. They get good leverage. You can see 67, Jamal Jackson coming through, and then Donovan McNabb comes in right behind him.
And piles is where it all happens, too, Moose. You get that pile like that. People always ask, what goes on in those piles? A lot of stuff we can't talk about, but it's always fun getting in those things.
Here's Westbrook. Westbrook gains 8. Anything you can talk about, Tony?
It's just when you get in there, guys are trying to rip at the ball and get some kind of turnovers. And, you know, if during the game a guy goes at your knees, that's when you can sort of go in there and, you know, pinch him a little bit or do a little something, you know, you can get nice up and close and have a nice personal conversation, right, Moose?
Exactly.
Well, a huge call by Andy Reid going forward on 4th and inches. McNabb picked up the first down, and the Eagles' drive continues. 2nd and 2 from their own 48. McNabb steps up, takes off, has a first down and more. Donovan McNabb all the way down to the Redskins' 36, a gain of 16 yards.
Well, we've seen a lot of cover 2. They've played Sean Taylor and LaRon Landry back deep and left 5 guys underneath. This is one of the few snaps that they've got that single high safety. There's Sean Taylor back there. Here's all your guys. They're in man coverage, so when the ball goes down the field, or the guys are releasing down the field, they kind of lose track of Donovan McNabb.
That was McNabb's longest run of the season. Here's Westbrook diving forward to the Washington 32-yard line. Talk about a gutsy call by Andy Reid. Should the Eagles go on to win this game,
oh man,
that might be the moment we look back at.
Washington had been on a roll in their last few offensive series. They were moving the ball very effectively.
2nd down and 7. Off the fake to Hunt. Catch is made by Reggie Brown inside the 30-yard line. Randall Godfrey made the tackle after a gain of 4.
I think the big thing that Washington wanted to do, you know, testing that patience of not only Donovan McNabb as the quarterback, but Andy Reid as a play caller, Marty Morningweg as a play caller, to see if they could stay with a plan that would take them down the field, or if they wanted to get that big chunk. And at times in the first half, we saw kind of an impatient approach, but on this drive, the second half, getting back in, being patient, taking what the defense is giving you.
So now 3rd down and 3. Empty backfield for the Eagles. Everybody out. McNabb is under intense pressure, but he's able to get rid of it. There's a penalty marker as L.J. Smith picked up the first down. 2 flags on the field.
Looked like they just didn't have enough guys.
Personal foul. Face mask. On the defense, half the distance. Automatic. First down.
Looks like they didn't have enough offenders to go and block what they were bringing defensively.
We welcome those of you who have been watching the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. Packers with a 27-0 lead. Kenny Albert, Daryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. Redskins lead the Eagles 15-7 late third quarter, but the Eagles are on the move after Andy Reid went for it on a 4th and inches. Back on his own 39-yard line. And now the Eagles with a 1st and 10 from just outside the Redskins' 10-yard line. McNabb over the top, nearly intercepted by Randall Godfrey. Pass was intended for Reggie Brown.
Boy, he read that one.
He was looking at his eyes the whole time. Donovan McNabb was looking exactly where he was going. Godfrey did a great job of going and just staying one step ahead of the receiver. Almost had the pick on that one.
I think he overran it. I think he read it so well that he ran past it.
Just reading the eyes of the linebacker. You don't have a lot of room to go. There he goes. He's looking exactly where he's going. Ooh, that was close.
2nd and 10. McNabb out of the shotgun. Inside handoff to Westbrook. And Brian Westbrook, who has the Eagles touchdown, is tackled at the 7-yard line by Andre Carter.
The Eagles have struggled in various areas throughout the season, but this has been their Achilles heel. They have really had issues in the red zone, something that a couple of weeks ago they went back and even started looking at different plays. It's not really execution or something they can get their finger on. And then Sean Taylor going in, I just don't think he's healthy right now. That's 2 weeks in a row. He's been in and out of the lineup, kind of coming off the field like he's got a burner. But this has been an area where Philadelphia has really slid when you compare their offense to years ago.
3rd down and 7. McNabb to the end zone. Touchdown, L.J. Smith.
Good job by the entire offense. They get some pressure. They pick it up. Gives Donovan McNabb the time. L.J. Smith runs a good man-to-man route. They get it completed for the touchdown.
And now the Eagles will go for 2, trailing by 2. Redskins missed an extra point earlier, then went for 2 after their 2nd touchdown and missed. L.J. Smith with his 1st touchdown of the season.
I still think it's too early for Andy Reid to be going for 2 now. Just kick it, play it. It's a 1-point game.
First time the Eagles are going for 2 all season. And they still trail by 2.
You know, you have this little card that you look at when you go for a 2-point conversion. But really all that card tells you is the score. It doesn't tell you what point in the game. You shouldn't even have that card in your hand until there's about 6 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Put it in a little trunk on the sideline, lock it up, hide the key. As soon as you get to the 6-minute mark of the 4th quarter, open it up and pull that card out.
A 12-play, 70-yard drive, although the Eagles actually had to drive 80 yards following the sack of Donovan McNabb. And the key play, Andy Reid going forward on 4th and inches. Eagles have pulled to within 2. Akers kicks off to Rock Cartwright. Cartwright out across the 30. With 2:51 remaining. 3rd quarter, a 29-yard return as the Eagles celebrate the L.J. Smith score. Welcome back. Just under 3 minutes remaining, 3rd quarter. Donovan McNabb drove the Eagles downfield. Philadelphia pulling within 2. Brian Westbrook, 109 yards today. James Thrash has both Redskin touchdown receptions for Jason Campbell. Campbell and the Redskins start from their own 32-yard line. The handoff to Portis on 1st down, and he gains 4.
For everybody joining us from that Green Bay game, let's show you what happened on that last drive. A gutsy call by Andy Reid on 4th down in his territory. A couple plays later, Donovan McNabb on a big scramble. They're able to get the touchdown throw to L.J. Smith. I still think they should have kicked the extra point, but they went for 2, didn't get it. We sit at 15-13, but a gutsy call by Andy Reid.
Campbell on 2nd down, complete to Portis. And Portis brought down by Taquillo Spikes, 1 yard shy of the marker, setting up 3rd down and 1.
Jason Campbell starting to spread that ball around now. Heavy to the wide receivers early in the game, but getting Cooley and the running backs involved here in the second half.
All 8 of his completions in the first half went to the wideouts. Portis. And Clint Portis picks up the 1st down. Out to the 47-yard line. Portis gaining 6 more.
Got that Eagles defense on their heels, Tony.
Yeah, they're very skeptical right now. Very, I don't know, I think they're questioning what they're doing out there. Trying to check on Sean Taylor right now. Questionable coming back.
Campbell on 1st and 10 to Cooley. And Chris Cooley has another Redskins 1st down at Eagles territory as we check in with Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Kenny, many folks watching your game were watching Green Bay and Minnesota earlier and might want to know that Adrian Peterson went down. Al Harris hits him low. Nothing dirty, just a hard hit to the thigh. Peterson lay on the ground for a while before limping off. He's got 11 carries and 45 yards so far. Back to you, Kenny.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Packers with a 27-0 lead. With a victory, Green Bay will go to 8-1. Cooley to the Eagles 36. Ryan Dawkins made the tackle.
Jason Campbell's doing a nice job of getting rid of the ball, Moose. From down here, I'll tell you, he's making quick reads, he's getting pressure in his face, but it's not getting to him to affect the throws because his release is so quick and he's making quick decisions.
He's really progressed, and he started to fill in last season. And one of the things we thought maybe they weren't stretching the field more is because they didn't really have a lot of confidence with Jason, but that's not the case. I mean, they're very happy with his development.
Complete to Antoine Randall. Jason Campbell making only his 16th NFL start as the Redskins march downfield. 3rd quarter comes to an end. Redskins leading 15-13 over the Eagles. Fox NFL Sunday will return after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. We start the 4th quarter. Redskins lead by 2. Washington has now led in the 4th quarter, Daryl, in 8 of their 9 games. In every game except their 52-7 loss in Foxborough 2 weeks ago.
They couldn't put up 45 in the 3rd?
They tried. Here's Portis. Clint Portis takes it inside the Eagles 20. He has another Redskins 1st down.
Hey, we watched that offensive line of the Redskins wear down the Jets' defensive line last week, Tony. Looks like the same thing's happening today.
Yeah, some gaping holes up there. They do run a little zone. Clinton Portis really identifies that cutback lane, and it was wide open. Nice job by him.
Portis with 96 yards on the ground. And Portis is over 100 for the 2nd consecutive week.
One thing Portis really does good, Moose, watching him down here, is protect that ball going through the line of scrimmage. That's when you can get those defensive linemen sticking arms in. Watch him right here. He goes, gets the ball. He's got 2 hands on it. Once he gets through, knows that he's in the clear a little bit, he goes to 1 hand. That's why he doesn't fumble the ball a lot.
He went 12 consecutive games without reaching 100. He's now done it 2 weeks in a row. This time he's wrapped up by Trent Cole. Cole, the leading sacker in the NFL, coming into play today. Eagles without a sack in this game. Look at Eagles receiver Hank Baskett, who went in for an x-ray on his forearm. 3rd down and 5. Redskins have to get to the 9. Campbell looking for Thrash.
Pass interference.
Penalty marker. James Thrash has been Jason Campbell's #1 target today.
And they put a number of different guys on him.
Pass interference, number 24 defense, grabbing the jersey. Automatic 1st down, the spot of the foul.
That's on Sheldon Brown, only the 3rd Eagles penalty.
Well, he's beaten William James down the field. He's beaten Sheldon Brown. He's beaten Lito Shepard. It really doesn't matter who they
Number
get
79,
on James Thrash.
reporting eligible, 79.
So an automatic first down. Jason Campbell with 2 touchdown passes to Thrash. Campbell has never thrown more than 2 touchdown passes in one game. He's perfect, 8 for 8 since halftime. Randall Allen motion. From the Eagles 8, Portis with Sellers leading the way. Breaks a tackle and takes it down inside the 6-yard line, brought to the ground by Sheldon Brown.
Omar Gaither, I mean, does a great job of reading this play, but just doesn't go in a wrap up there in the backfield. I mean, he had it tackled. Watch him right here, middle linebacker. All of a sudden, he reads it. What a lane, wide open. You gotta make that tackle. I mean, that's the difference between 7 points and 3 points.
Portis would have been down at the 11, Tony. Instead, it's now 2nd and goal from the 6. Off the fake to Portis. Campbell looking for Cooley in the end zone. Incomplete, 3rd and goal coming up.
You're not going to get Chris Cooley one-on-one down here in this part of the field. He's going to draw some attention. J.R. Reed got away with one right there. a little hook and pull.
Odell Betts in the backfield. Randall L in the slot. 3 wide receivers. 3rd and goal from the 6. Campbell to the end zone. Touchdown, Keenan McCardell. His first touchdown since the 2005 season.
Wow, that is concentration on the ball right there, Moose.
Well, you know, the other thing, Tony, it shows a lot of continuity. I mean, it's kind of that stop fade route thrown on the back shoulder of the defender. It's not an easy play to do because you've got to rep it so many times between quarterback and wide receiver to know the subtleties of what each guy does. And boy, Jason Campbell threw it on a line right on the back shoulder of William James.
So 37-year-old Keenan McCardell in his 16th National Football League season has his first touchdown for the team that drafted him back in 1991. Daryl, do you think Joe will run next year?
I don't know. It's a pretty busy ticket. I haven't heard his name out there yet.
It's wide open, though. He's got a shot.
A look at the Redskins' 3 scoring drives today. Jason Campbell, for the first time in his young career, has thrown 3 touchdown passes in one game. And how about Keenan McCardell, signed by the Redskins last month, drafted by Washington back in '91, spent that year on injured reserve, was given a Super Bowl ring, then went to Cleveland, and here he is 16 years later. He has his first touchdown as a Redskin. And a little finger roll.
16 years ago, he might have been able to dunk it over there instead of the finger roll.
The first of 2 NFC matchups, NFC East matchups today on Fox. Redskins leading the Eagles 22-13. Eagles go back to work. McNabb over the top. Catch is made by Reggie Brown. Coming up, Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants.
Interested to see how this Giants defense plays this time around. That Week 1 opener, obviously not near the group that they've become during this 6-game winning streak. Anxious to see how Jason Garrett, the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys, decides to attack.
Cowboys won the first meeting 45-35. McNabb to a wide open L.J. Smith. Tackled by Pearson Prelo at the Redskins 39 after picking up 27 yards.
Kevin Curtis was wide open in the middle on the last play. I think they changed the formation and sent L.J. Smith down the middle this time, and that's what that defense is supposed to prevent from happening. So obviously a blown assignment somewhere on that Redskins secondary linebacker level.
From the Washington 40, off the play fake. McNabb again going deep, and it's nearly intercepted by Godfrey.
Impatience. I mean, you can't make that throw. Not only is Randall Godfrey in great position to make a play, but your safeties are right there too. Just check it down. Donovan's just got to check that ball down. Randall Godfrey had an opportunity to make a huge play for his defense.
Godfrey starting today once again for the injured Marcus Washington. Second and 10, Westbrook found a hole. Penalty marker in the defensive secondary as Westbrook takes it down to the Redskins 28.
That one hit quick, huh, Goose?
It was real quick. I don't know. It looked like it was wide open. I don't know what this
Personal
penalty
foul. Crackback. Number
there you
83
go.
offense. 15-yard penalty. Second down.
That'll make a gaping hole almost.
Yeah. Was it 8? Did he call 82 or 83?
83, Greg Lewis.
He's got to be coming in motion from the outside. He's lined up to the right. He's going to come into crack. Oh, yeah, you cannot come from displaced and then go down low. He came in and went low on Rocky McIntosh.
So this will force the Eagles back to their own 49-yard line. Second down and 20. Eagles trailing the Redskins by 9. Play action, McNabb gets rid of it, hitting Westbrook. Another flag as Westbrook is tackled by Sean Springs after a gain of 5.
Oh, they're gonna convert a second and 20 into a first.
Illegal contact. Number 24 defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
That's on Sean Springs.
Wow. Well, that's the second time today. The first touchdown drive by the Eagles kept alive on a third down illegal contact penalty early in that drive. And now we got another big one.
Momentum is definitely on the side of the Eagles right now, and with those penalties, you're just helping them out. You can't do that. You're killing yourself. Them stupid penalties have got to be eliminated.
Redskins were killed by penalties on the Eagles' first drive of this game. And now an automatic first down. McNabb with loads of time firing downfield for Reggie Brown. What a catch! Touchdown! A spectacular catch by Reggie Brown. 45-yard touchdown reception.
You know, sometimes it's just about a guy making a play. You cannot fault Pearson Prelude on that play. He's in the exact spot he should be in. The ball is thrown behind. Reggie Brown picks it up at the last second and makes the catch. The line gives him the time to get the ball deep. Watch that. I mean, that's just a guy making a play. Reggie Brown, heck of a catch.
Brown's first touchdown of the season. Remember, the Eagles went for 2 following their last touchdown and missed. Now Akers connects on the extra point. And the Eagles pull 2 and 2. What a catch by Brown.
I think the only thing wrong that Pearson Prelude did on that play is he lost the flight of the ball, but Donovan McNabb was lucky he got away with that one. That one very easily could have been intercepted if he puts that ball in the right spot.
And with that completion, McNabb's 19th today. He passes Jaws, Ron Jaworski. McNabb now has the most completions in Eagles franchise history.
How mad is Jaws right now? Sorry, Jaws.
You're going to be suiting up for camp next year.
So it's a 2-point game once again. Rob Cartwright on the return for the Redskins. Penalty marker as Cartwright is stopped just shy of the 35-yard line.
During the return, holding. Number 79, 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's on the Redskins, jack of all trades. Lorenzo Alexander plays on offense, plays some defense, plays special teams. Well, Fox's football coverage doesn't end when the games are over. After the Giants and Cowboys, stick around for the OT, where Kurt, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy bring you exclusive interviews, extended highlights, and reveal the new BCS standings. It's the OT tonight after the late games, only on Fox. We had OT last week, Redskins and the Jets. Redskins have won 2 games in overtime this year.
Yeah, I tell you, they did a great job last week because the Jets hit a big play. The first play of overtime, put themselves down in a position where one more first down, and they've got an opportunity to kick a field goal. A critical drop by Jericho Cotchery, but that defense tightened up. They found a way to win. We'll see if they can keep it going this week.
Redskins with a 2-point lead. They start from their own 24-yard line. Campbell off the play fake, complete for a first down to Randall at the 38-yard line as we send it west to Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Boy, sometimes it's good to be Brett Favre. Watch this. Back to pass against Minnesota, already up 27-0, has it bounce off 2 Viking defenders and into the hands of Ravel Martin. Favre's 3rd touchdown pass of the day. It's 34 to zip. Can he move some goose?
What does that say about San Diego? I mean, San Diego got whooped by Minnesota last week.
Timeout taken by the Redskins.
That's the second charge timeout. Washington. Timeout.
And, you know, you think back to the game we did week 1. The Eagles outplayed the Packers.
If they can catch a punt, you know, they win that game. And who knows what happens to Green Bay season, and who knows what happens to Philadelphia.
By the numbers, Eagles still without a kickoff return over 30 yards. James Thrash with a huge game. And Redskin wide receivers with 3 touchdowns today. First 3 of the season. Quint Portis up to the 48-yard line. So Portis with his 2nd consecutive terrific game on the ground. And these next 9.5 minutes, Daryl, will go a long way towards determining what takes place in the NFC East over the next 8 weeks.
It really will. And, you know, I think we know why Andy Reid went for it on that 4th down in his end of the field earlier this half. They haven't been able to slow Washington down at all. I mean, they've been going up and down the field against this Eagles defense.
2nd and 1. Campbell firing downfield, looking for Randall, who initially looked like he would make the catch, but could not come down with the football.
Now, one of the things when you talk to people about why doesn't Washington stretch the field more in their passing game, well, you know, they've had a lot of drops this year, too. That was one of the things that came up. Antoine Randall has to make that catch. He's got to put this ball away and secure it all the way to the ground. And the big example that they cited was that Green Bay game. They had a number of drops in the Green Bay game where Jason Campbell would have had a heck of a day throwing the ball.
Campbell on 2nd and 10. Sets up the screen. And another first down. Portis to the Eagles' 40-yard line.
Omar Gaither has got to make a decision. He reads the play well, but he plays it very tentatively. He's just got to get up there and blow this thing up. You might not necessarily make the tackle, but you've got to disrupt the play. He does a good job of reading screen right there, but watch, his pursuit angle is poor. He allows Clinton Portis to get back inside.
And Portis picked up 12. Campbell to Randall Allen. Another Redskins first down.
Bruce, Jason Campbell is just getting better and better. You know, we talked about it earlier with him and his poise in the pocket, but I don't know if he's gaining confidence or he likes the play selection, but he feels extremely comfortable right now and looks it in the pocket.
Well, he made the statement this week that he'd like to get the ball down the field a little bit more. And so I think he is going to be more comfortable with the game plan that they've utilized this afternoon.
Odell Betts lost the football.
There was no whistle. There was no indication he was down. So this is at least going to go to review.
Eagles ball.
Ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by Philadelphia. 1st and 10. Philadelphia.
So Liddell Betts on his first carry today turns the ball over.
One of the things that Philadelphia hasn't been able to do, it looks as though he's down. Now, I don't know. I think his hand was down and kept himself up from going down.
Now, remember, it was ruled a fumble on the field. So if the Redskins challenge,
challenging, ruling the field,
which they have,
first is down by contact.
There must be indisputable visual evidence that shows otherwise. It was ruled a fumble on the field.
Well, we just deciphered this a second ago. We finally got one. It looked like it was going to be too close to overturn, but I think we've got a good picture right there. Watch Liddell Betts' arm. See that left arm come through? The ball's not in it. When he put his hand down right there, he actually kept himself up.
After reviewing the play, it is a fumble. The ball was coming out prior to the forearm being down. First down.
Exactly.
Philadelphia.
As you deciphered it, Daryl, the ball was out before Betts was down.
There's the big thing. They got charged their third and final timeout by losing the challenge. They had a couple of issues with the clock earlier in the half. Washington has no timeouts now with 8:09 remaining.
So the Eagles take over. They trail by 2. Liddell Betts, who had a huge game, 171 yards against Philadelphia last season, fumbles on his first carry today.
You know, sometimes, Kenny, the ball just comes out. That was a good play by Quentin Michael. You can't fault Liddell Betts for trying to get some yards. He had it tucked away, squeezed tight, with just a good hit on the ball.
Michael forced the fumble. It was recovered by Joselio Hansen. So now Donovan McNabb, and the Eagles go back to work, and McNabb was hit. He lost the fumble. The football to the Redskins have recovered.
We talked about it earlier. He's got to secure that ball. It was out. We talked about the Redskins going and attacking the ball. That's exactly what happened on that play.
He's got to get rid of it, Tony. And securing the ball, I mean, this is something that Donovan has done his whole career. I mean, going back to Syracuse, when he moves, that ball is in one hand and it is out. Securing it's one thing. Getting rid of it, get rid of it. You know you're not going to be able to do anything right now. The play's breaking down. Oh, it's a huge one. He had a big one last week against Dallas right before the half that kind of changed the complexion of the game with an interception.
Andre Carter with the sack, Anthony Montgomery the recovery. So the Eagles on the next play, following the Betts fumble, give the ball right back to the Washington Redskins. Here's Portis. And Portis takes it inside the Eagles' 15-yard line.
They're running behind the right side now, too. I mean, you have to give credit to Jason Fabini and Todd Wade. Some guys moved up his starters with some injuries to the frontline guys. Their chemistry has really grown during their time together. Now there is no issues running to offense, the Washington offensive right side.
Randall Allen in motion, 2nd down and 1. Portis, 1st down and more. Finally tackled at the Eagles' 8.
Portis just does a nice job of going and finding that hole. Moose, that was a small hole, but he got his shoulders in there. Goes and makes a beautiful play, gaining some yards on that one.
Mike Sellers is the injured Redskin on the field.
Here it is. He goes to his left. That hole opens and closes. You see him skip right there to get his hips through. Just keeps driving. Donovan was not happy when he saw that little hole right there.
Well, I mean, it is so critical that Philadelphia's defense hold Washington to 3 points. They have been going up and down the field on this defense the entire second half. If they get 7, I don't think there's enough time left for Philadelphia to score twice. They have got to hold him to 3, Tony. What does Jim Johnston do? You know him. You played with him in Indianapolis.
You know what? I think he just goes. I would expect him to put some pressure on here, but then again, you know, when I thought he was going to bring pressure today, he didn't. You got to have confidence in them guys up front to get it. You know, they're going to go over. You got to find where Cooley's going to be, and you got to be ready for that timing pass that we saw earlier to McCardle.
I tell you, that's a pretty significant injury at this point of the game. If Mike Sellers has to be out for the remainder of this series, you know Joe Gibbs wants to pound this ball into the end zone. He doesn't want to have to throw it here. And with Mike Sellers on the side, that's a huge blow. He's one of their better blockers, whether he's on the line of scrimmage as a tight end or in the backfield as the fullback.
Yoder shifts into the backfield in place of Sellers. Thrash in motion. First and goal with Yoder leading the way. This is Portis. And Portis is tackled by Mike Patterson at the Eagles' 6-yard line. And now Sellers, after missing one play, checks back in, as does Lorenzo Alexander as an extra blocker.
Here comes the matching set from the other side.
We approach 6 minutes remaining. Redskins lead by 2. Second and goal from the Eagles' 6. The toss to Portis. Looks to cut it back inside and is tackled by Bunkley at the 5-yard line. So Joe Gibbs and the Redskins now facing a 3rd and goal from the 5.
Well, I know that Joe Gibbs would like to be able to run this ball in for 6 points here on 3rd down, but he's got to know that Jason Campbell has played very, very well in the red zone as a quarterback throwing the ball. I know he's a young guy, but you look right there. He's got 115 rating, 6 TDs, no interceptions in the red zone. He has the guy who's got tremendous confidence in this situation if he feels like he wants to put it up.
On 3rd and goal, Campbell looking end zone. He throws shy of the end zone. Yoder fights his way to the goal line. There is a flag.
And he's down before he got in.
Yoder was stopped just shy of the goal line. Now there is a penalty marker back at the 5-yard line. Jason Campbell signaling first down.
Holding. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Be half the distance of the goal, so they'll be down at the 3-yard line with a first down. I still don't know how Todd Yoder didn't get in. It looked like he broke the plane. Look at him working. Whoa. He got fortunate.
You got to drag them big guys in there. Ramsey's holding on to his shoes.
He almost dropped that one, Tony. He almost put it on the ground.
Yeah, that almost came out.
We had about 4 Eagles hanging on to him.
They're going to go and challenge this corner, these corners on this Eagles defense again.
3 tight ends. First and goal from the 2.5. Portis. And Portis is forced back.
That one was coming out.
That's exactly how this defense is designed. They want you to go when you're going on that corner route. Instead of stretching it, get upfield, make them cut back in there. Linebackers are right there to make a nice tackle on that play. See the cut back. Linebackers right there. Whoa, the ball almost came out again.
And the Eagles use a timeout. Stop the clock with 4:31 remaining.
Well, hopefully the Giant-Cowboy game after this one will be as good as this NFC East battle's been.
Cowboys 7-1, Giants 6-2. Giants have not won 7 straight games since 1990. And then, as you mentioned, Daryl, if the Giants win the game today and the Redskins hang on and win this one, it'll be a battle for first place next week between the Cowboys and the Redskins in Dallas.
The people in Dallas that are watching this game got to be sitting on the end of their seat wondering what's going on. These two teams look unbelievable.
Second and goal, Redskins. Portis.
Oh, good job on the backside.
Yeah, Darren Howard.
Watch J.R. Reed. I think it's J.R. Reed who comes from the backside. See if it's number 30 who loops it. No, you're right, Kenny. It's Darren Howard, number 90.
He gets penetration, slows him down right off the bat. He can't even dive or anything to try and get a little momentum to go into the goal.
Well, this will be the second time with a game hanging in the balance, and the Redskins first and goal inside the 5-yard line. It happened to them earlier this year against the Giants, and really was kind of the impetus to kick the Giants off on that 6-game win streak. I mean, the Giants are sitting at 0-3. They're able to make a goal line stand against the Redskins, win that game, and then go on a roll.
Daryl, the Eagles use their second timeout. 4:27 remaining. Again, it is 3rd and goal. Redskins were in this situation moments ago.
Redskins just ran in a couple wide receivers, so we have a chance of seeing a pass here, guys.
Philadelphia's trying to match. They didn't get their guys out.
Yep, they didn't change personnel at all.
Thrash split to the left, Randall out to the right. Thrash in motion. Campbell out of the shotgun. Penalty markers prior to the snap.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 47 offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
I cannot tell you how huge that penalty is on Chris Cooley to kill this play. Jim Johnston is scrambling on the sideline right now to try and get his big guys who are in there against the run to adjust. They didn't match personnel on that last snap. By that penalty, the clock stops. He's got his guys back out on the field this time, but you saw James Thrash come wide open in the flat.
It also forces the Redskins back to the 7-yard line. Randall in motion, 3rd and goal. Campbell hands it off to Portis, and he is tackled by Taquillo Spikes. So the Eagles defense holds the Redskins on 3rd down, and now the Eagles use their final timeout.
What a job by that Eagle defense. That is what, Tony, play 6? Play 6 they've stopped them down here with the penalty?
They've done a great job of just going and making a wall there in the middle. Running right into the linebackers, doing a nice job. Defensive line going and hold up that offensive line. I mean, last week against the Jets, we saw this offensive line just totally dominate the defensive line, but not this Philadelphia Eagles defensive line.
You get your wide receivers in, you try and slip Clinton Portis up inside. Joselio Hansen closes from the outside, forces him back in. 7 plays inside the 5-yard line, all to Clinton Portis, except the one pass to Todd Yoder.
The biggest advantage they have, Moose, and you pointed out, was when they had the mismatch of personnel. Cooley jumped off sides. That play was huge.
So now a 21-yard field goal attempt from the right hash. Sean Sweezum. And Sweezum's kick is good, extending the Redskins' lead to 5 points. And now the Eagles need a touchdown. Just over 4 minutes left to play. Redskins over the Eagles, 25-20. We welcome those of you who have joined us. Green Bay Packers have beaten the Minnesota Vikings 34-0. So the Packers now 8-1. Vikings dropped to 3-6. 4:15 remaining, 4th quarter. As Sweezum kicks off, both teams are out of timeouts. J.R. Reed on the return for the Eagles. And Reed takes it out to the 35-yard line. Pearson Prelo made the tackle on special teams.
It's been a crazy second half. L.J. Smith gets a touchdown. We've had both teams going for 2-point conversions. It's kind of got the score out of whack a little bit. Reggie Brown with a fantastic catch. Got the Philadelphia Eagles back in. Then we had back-to-back fumbles. Looked as though Philadelphia was going to take control. Donovan puts it on the ground on the next play. And then a huge goal line stand by the Philadelphia Eagle defense. 7 plays because of a penalty inside the 5. They hold the Redskins to a field goal.
And here's Brian Westbrook on first down, gaining just 2. Randall Godfrey made the tackle. Westbrook 114 yards, scored the game's first touchdown. James Thrash filling in for the injured Santana Moss has 2 Redskin touchdowns. And Clint Portis with his second consecutive 100-yard game. Both quarterbacks, Donovan McNabb and Jason Campbell, have thrown 3 touchdown passes. For Campbell, it is a new career high. Second down and 8, penalty marker, free play for the Eagles as McNabb's pass is caught by Hank Baskett. Baskett out of bounds at the 42-yard line.
Illegal substitution, 12 men. Defense, 5-yard penalty, replay, second down.
Well, that's been another big part of this game. The Washington Redskins, just critical penalties in important parts of this game. They allowed the Philadelphia offense to score on their opening drive because of a 3rd down penalty.
You got 12 guys on the field. I mean, you can see them right there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
And that's a great defensive scheme right there if you can get it done.
Unfortunately for the Redskins, they got caught. McNabb off his back foot, gets rid of it to Westbrook, into Redskins territory. Brian Westbrook inside the 20, the 10, cuts to his right, touchdown Eagles. 58 yards, and the Eagles take a 1-point lead.
We talked about you have to tackle in the open field, and that's something that we didn't see on that particular play.
Well, the other thing is the patience. You know, you got to stay patient the way that Washington has played Philadelphia. And the screenplay is a great element in maintaining your patience, and it is executed flawlessly. Donovan McNabb, a fantastic job of inviting the rush and buying some time. A good flick to Brian Westbrook, and then just some great open field running with his wide receivers working hard down the field.
And now the Eagles will go for 2. We have had only 3 extra points kicked in this game. Redskins missed an extra point. Both teams have gone for 2. Neither successful. Here's McNabb on the 2-point conversion attempt. It is broken up in the end zone by LaRon Landry. So with 3:16 remaining, the Eagles' lead is 1.
Well, here's what we got. On this screen right here, it's set up. When you're a defensive lineman, let's hold it right there, okay, and you get this free, roll it right, Brad, roll it. All of a sudden, the offensive line, stop, freeze it right there. When you get that clean, you never see that in the NFL. 4 guys coming clean. Right now, these defensive linemen need to trace and run back here. This is where you need to get as a defensive lineman. That's where he's going to make the cutback, and that's where you should be. You see them, but they're not just there fast enough.
Watch Sean Andrews, number 73, on the peel back to Rocky McIntosh. And then Brian Westbrook right here at the end. Guys working downfield. That's what takes the big play. You've got to have your guys working down the field. I think it was Hank Baskett, 84, working all the way down to the end zone. But Sean Andrews, that little peel back block, taking off the pursuit from inside out, got the play started.
You got to give a little shout out, Brian Westbrook. I mean, what an unbelievable job he did on this cutback and the vision that he has downfield.
Sean Andrews there. John Runyon, number 69, is going to come into your screen right here.
Man. That's a big man, John Runyon, when he throws blocks, boy.
And Tony, a big man who has barely been able to sit down for the last month.
Yeah, he broke his tailbone coming out of a hot tub or cold tub in the training room. And, had a hard time sleeping. We met with him yesterday, and just when we talked to the team, and he has that broken tailbone. He couldn't sit down in meetings, and he has a tough time sleeping. He says he only sleeps 20 minutes a day, in 20-minute intervals. So, a big man like that needs a lot of sleep.
James Thrash, who has had a great afternoon, is the injured Redskin.
A couple of touchdowns, but we've seen him out there on a bunch of special teams units also, doing everything he can to help the Redskins.
We welcome those of you who have just joined us. Terrific game here in our nation's capital on Veterans Day. Kenny Albert, Daryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. The Eagles have taken a 1-point lead on the Redskins. Washington 5-3, Philadelphia 3-5. First of two big battles in the NFC East today on Fox. Redskins led by 9 early in this fourth quarter, 22-13, but the Eagles have fought their way back. Neither team with a timeout remaining. James Thrash, the injured Redskin, as we check in Los Angeles with Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Well, Kenny, in the NFC South, Falcons and Panthers all tied at 13. Falcons trying to get in field goal position. Who needs stinking field goal position? LG Crumpler takes it 30 yards for the score, and the Falcons have the lead 20-13 with 20 seconds remaining in that one. Back to Kenny, Moose and Goose.
All right, thanks, Kurt. James Thrash helped off. You see his numbers. The first 2 touchdown receptions by a Redskins wide receiver this season. Also made a big tackle on special teams.
That doesn't look good. You know, you keep your fingers crossed. You hope that's not a season-ending injury. And not just what he's done from a production standpoint and the numbers today, but you know, you talk about somebody in the intangibles that they bring to a team. What he has done today, just the way he approaches everything, he's somebody that this team cannot afford to lose in their locker room.
Brandon Lloyd out, replacing Thrash on first down. The screen, the Portis, but the Eagles read it perfectly. As Thrash.
Both of these offensive coordinators have a lot of respect. You don't run screen and draw plays on bad defenses. You run them on good ones to try and slow them down.
Saw Thrash 10-2 on the sidelines. Campbell on 2nd and 13. And Keenan McCardell was bobbling the football and then stepped out of bounds.
The officials are having a lot of help here from this Eagles sideline. I mean, it looked like the whole side of the field was juggling the ball. They were saying, no, he's juggling, he's juggling. Take a look at this. You see the ball come in, he juggles it. Now watch the whole sideline. Watch them all. All right, guys, go.
And the Redskins cannot challenge because they are out of timeouts. Campbell on 3rd and 13, incomplete. He was looking for Randall L. Omar Gaither on the coverage.
So that's the thing in this situation. You know it's 4 downs. You just told us, Kenny, they have no timeouts. I mean, they got to go for it here. Interesting play call, knowing it's 2-down territory.
So the Redskins facing a 4th and 13. Cowboys and Giants coming up next on Fox. Redskins have to get to the 35 for a first down. Campbell under pressure. He's hit. Ball pops loose. It's recovered by the Eagles.
What a change of events in the last 4 minutes of this game. Washington has absolutely dominated the second half, gone up and down the field at will. Somehow Philadelphia's defense is able to make a goal line stand. Their offense hits a big play to Brian Westbrook on the screen. And then with everything hanging there, they need a field goal to win it. Again, the Philadelphia defense rises up and forces them out in 4 downs.
Mike Patterson with the sack on 4th down. And you have to think back, Daryl, to the key play in this game. Andy Reid, who has been under a lot of scrutiny this season, going for it on 4th and inches from his own 39-yard line.
Well, I credit both of the coaches today. Andy Reid for being able to hold his group together, after getting roughed up by the Cowboys last week.
Westbrook, Daryl walks it in, his third touchdown today.
Joe Gibbs, understanding that in today's game, the approach he had last week against the Jets wasn't going to be sufficient. They opened up their offense today. They played very, very well in the second half. But Donovan McNabb made a statement earlier this week. It was kind of echoing what Andy Reid had said. It's time for our guys to step up and just start making plays. You know, yeah, we're 3-5. We've had some tough times, but somebody's got to step up and make some plays. Today he had Reggie Brown make a great catch for a touchdown, and then Ryan Westbrook going 58 yards on that screen pass to give them the lead late in the fourth quarter.
Now, because the Eagles scored so quickly, Redskins will get the ball back. It is still a one-possession game at 33-25.
Well, that would just play right into the way this game has been all day.
Third touchdown of the game for Westbrook.
Nice job of that offensive line, just making a gaping hole.
Well, you know, Tony, I think it's a little bit of that, you know, Green Bay-Denver Super Bowl thing. You let them go in and score to get as much time as you can, because you got to go down and get a touchdown and get a two-point conversion.
Tell you what, that offensive line of the Eagles played great today.
Well, tonight at 9, guys, 8 Central, it's the mother of all showdowns on an all-new Family Guy when Lois takes on Stewie. It all begins tonight at 9, 8 Central, only on Fox. Viewer discretion is advised. Philadelphia Eagles with 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns, 4 touchdowns in the second half. They lead the Redskins now 33-25, but the Redskins will get the ball back, trailing by 8. How important is this game? Cowboys and Giants coming up next. A Redskins win, and they would go to 6-3. An Eagles win, and they would go to 4-5 with a game against the Miami Dolphins coming up next week. Coming up next on Fox, it's the Cowboys and the Giants. From the Meadowlands, there's James Thrash, who was injured moments ago.
Yeah, continues not to look like a very good situation for James Thrash.
Thrash did a remarkable job filling in for Santana Moss, who was inactive today, out with a sore heel. Redskins with no timeouts will get the ball back as Akers kicks it off. Cartwright from the 8. And Cartwright is tackled just shy of the 30-yard line by Hakeem Jordan.
Well, he's done it twice this year already. He's led them to overtime victories. For a young quarterback, he's got a lot of poise. He's been in situations. He's had success in high school, had an undefeated season while he was at Auburn. He's shown so far in his young NFL career that he can take his team down the field and win a game late. See if he can pull it off against the division rival Eagles. Get this tied up.
3 wide receivers. Redskins without Thrash. Brandon Lloyd on the field. Pass is dropped by Portis. 2nd and 10 upcoming. Jason Campbell with a career-high 3 touchdown passes today. 2 to James Thrash, the other to Keenan McCardell. But the Eagles have come back with 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns, and they lead by 8. Campbell on 2nd and 10. With time, he throws, and the catch is made by McCardell at the 45-yard line as we hit the 2-minute warning. Keenan McCardell picks up a Redskin first down. Redskins need to march 55 more yards and then attempt a 2-point conversion. Campbell's pass is caught by Cooley. With 1:55 remaining. For those of you in the home markets of the late games, we will be switching you to the kickoff of your game momentarily. 2nd down and 7 for the Redskins. The Eagles have scored 20 points here in the fourth quarter. Since the McCardell touchdown, The Eagles have outscored the Redskins 20-3. Bad snap. And Campbell falls on it. Clock continues to run, and the Redskins lose it down.
Yeah, the big thing is, you point out, Ken, they still have no timeouts. The guys down the field. Here comes Cooley. Here comes Brandon Lloyd. You got to get back. Casey Robach snapped it. I don't know what the signal is, but Jason Campbell didn't give it.
Now Campbell on 3rd down and 15. And now the Redskins again facing a 4th down.
Tony, isn't it amazing to have seen an offense this entire half just go up and down the field at will, and then with the game in the balance, now 2 consecutive series, exactly right.
Unbelievable.
They can't protect, they can't execute.
Breakdowns. They're beating themselves, really. You know, on that easy block right there, just go and hold the guy up for another second. All he needed was a half a second. It wasn't like he was holding the ball.
A shotgun snap. You can't do a silent count shotgun snap.
They beat themselves today.
On the last play, Jaquay Thomas got a piece of Jason Campbell's arm. Redskins have to get to the Eagles 45 to stay alive. Campbell firing downfield for Brandon Lloyd. It's broken up by Dawkins. The Eagles will take over on downs with 1:22 remaining.
That's a great picture right there after the week that Donovan McNabb and Andy Reid have been through. Everybody on the outside trying to poke holes in what they've done. Calling for Kevin Cobb, a change in the quarterback. Andy Reid stood by his guns. Too much history between those two guys. Donovan McNabb, too much a part of this organization. Another critical mistake today, but his defense bailed him out big time.
20 fourth quarter points. Eagles had scored only 30 in the 4th all season, and they will now run out the clock. Great job by our entire crew today. Our producer, Pete Macheska. Our director, Michael Frank, who celebrated his birthday yesterday. Associate directors, Fran Morrison and Judy Wong. Our broadcast associate, Chirag Davaskar. Technical producer, Dan Rotante. Technical director, Chris Castro. David Corris crunching the numbers for us, along with Ben Bowman, Matt Banovic, and Rick Camps. Pre-game show produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. The associate director, Stephanie Medina. The senior vice president of production is Jack Simmons. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. And the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. The Eagles will raise their record to 4-5. They will host the Miami Dolphins next Sunday. The Redskins will drop to 5-4, and they will head to Dallas.
Well, you just saw those pictures from the Eagles sideline to the Redskins sideline, and not really the joy of winning a game and the just that sick feeling of losing a game, but Philadelphia knows all too well that they stole one today, and the Redskins, on the flip side of that, know they gave one away.
So the Eagles come from behind. They trailed by 9 in the 4th quarter, and they defeat the Redskins 33-25. For Daryl Johnston and Tony Siragusa, this is Kenny Albert saying so long. Eagles over the Redskins by 8. Coming up after these messages, the second game of our Fox NFL doubleheader.